Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2022-23 season. My name is Dan and today we have got the Gameweek 100 Experts video, the video where we will be looking at the transfer trends, chip usage and captaincy of top FPL managers to see if we can find any trends there. Now I thought this would be a pretty boring week in terms of transfers and this, that and the other, but actually having a look at this data, there is actually a few interesting tidbits in here. So whether you are thinking of using a transfer or not, maybe this video will help you to change your minds or reaffirm your ideas. I hope you enjoy it. Please do leave a like if you haven't done already, and please do subscribe as well. Let's have a look at the experts for this week. Okay, here are the 100 names of 100 experts, pundits, content creators, real passionate top FPL managers. So thank you so much to all of these people. Got to give them a shout out every week. Make sure you show them some love. Let's see what they're up to. Okay, so 26% of them are making one transfer, 6% of them are making two transfer, nobody is making 3 or more transfers, nobody is using any wildcards or any chips at all for that matter, and we've got 68% not making a transfer this week at all. So this really is one of those weeks where you should be tempted to roll your transfer, save your transfer for the following game week. You don't need it, probably, but that is going to depend on your team structure, and maybe there are some changes that you can make that we are going to discuss in this video. I think the most interesting thing here is that there's no chip usage at all, so really this is not a week for using chips. We've got a lot of double game weeks and blank game weeks coming up. These are going to be your prime opportunities for your chips, including the wild card, so no chips, and a transfer is not necessary this week unless you feel like there is a move that you want to make. Okay, so in terms of the most popular Game Week 24 transfers in the world among all FPL managers, well, we have got a lot of players on this list, and this is interesting today. This is probably the most interesting part of the video, to me personally anyway. So, obviously we've got João Felix, Tony, Mahrez, Saka, and a few others, fairly popular transfers in. The numbers for transfers are not massively high this week, so it seems like even the general, more casual FPL manager is not too keen on making a transfer this week, because these numbers are slightly lower. But this is where things get very, very interesting. So we like to compare these players you see on screen with which of these players our experts also like. How many do you think our experts also like on this list? And I'm talking about players with at least 2-3 transfers in among our 100 experts. Well, we've got 2, João Felix and Mahrez. So just 2 of the top 12 players are also favoured by experts, and it gets even worse when we have a look at some of the players who aren't being transferred in by any of our experts. Let's have a look at those. Tony, Rashford, me, Shaw, Maddison, March, Mitoma and Kane. So none of our experts are transferring in any of the players now highlighted in red. So basically this entire list, our experts aren't interested in any of these players. Now in fairness, pretty much everyone is going to have Rashford. Most people who want Shaw will already have him. But I think a key thing here is that if you don't have the likes of Rashford and Shaw, you're probably not going to bring him in if you are a top FPL managers, because most top FPL managers are not planning on free hitting in Game Week 25. So they're really trying to avoid those players who, who don't have a fixture in Game Week 25, who blank in Game Week 25. And when you look through this list, it really is quite shocking how many of these players that are the most popular transfers in the world don't even have a fixture next game week. Tony, Rashford, me, Shaw, March, Mitoma, Estepinian. That's 7 out of 12. Over half of the most popular transfers in the world don't even play in Game Week 25. So those of you guys who have been a little bit more patient, who are not transferring in players who blank, and who are going to save their free hit for a bigger opportunity, and there will be bigger opportunities, you guys are going to be at a massive advantage, even in Game Week 25 or even beyond that, because I feel like a lot of people have actually already used their free hits. So when Game Week 25 comes along and they realize they don't have any players, they're going to be taking a lot of hits, they're going to be making a lot of transfers, they're going to be wasting their wild cards or their free hits, and it's going to be absolute pandemonium. So guys, those of you guys who have planned, who have been following along with these more planned kind of routes that a lot of our experts have been doing all season, I feel like you're going to really benefit from this in the next few game weeks. So congratulations to you guys, and if not, hey, it's okay. There's different ways to play FPL. It's all for fun at the end of the day. Right, into our experts. So these are the most popular transfers out. And remember, there's only 32 of our experts actually making transfers this game week. But there does seem to be a clear trend of Botman being removed. So Botman has been the expert's choice for the second Newcastle defender alongside Trippier. I know some other people will have the likes of Fabian Schär, maybe some other players as well. Not totally sure. Maybe Nick Pope, I guess. Yeah, maybe. But Dan Burn, maybe. But look, all of the experts went for Botman, pretty much. And now, because Botman has got a fixture against Liverpool, and there are some other defenders that we should be keeping a close eye on at the moment, a lot of our experts are actually going 1 week early and actually removing Botman before his blank in 25, actually going today, this week instead. So that's something to consider. You can also see Trippier on this list as well, 2 transfers out for him. We've got Martinelli being removed still. Obviously, he is in more and more danger of being rotated as time goes on by the looks of things. De Bruyne not favoured anymore by a lot of our managers. Almiron, you know, he may have scored well in Game Week 23, but we're not expecting that to continue. Fernandes, a couple of transfers out, and Doherty here as well, 2 transfers out. Obviously, he is not going to be available, so he needs to be removed if you do still have him. So yeah, it's an interesting one. There is not a huge amount of transfers this week, so there's only a limited amount of data really to go on, but Botman is a possible transfer out for you guys. If you still have Martinelli, possibly as well. Almiron could be possibly transferred out potentially, although I don't mind the fixture against Liverpool. We're not really expecting Almiron to be involved in goals typically. So look, it's kind of up to you where you go with this. There is a few players that you can consider removing though. Transfers in, Tarkowski. Why is it so hard to say Tarkowski? Tarkowski is the #1 transfer in. So, following the similar kind of route of my buy, sell, keep, avoid video that I uploaded yesterday, we are seeing that the Everton man, super cheap defender with a double game week in Game Week 25 is a super popular transfer in. So, yeah, definitely a player we want to be keeping a close eye on. Same kind of situation with Kilman, 0.1 more expensive, playing for Wolves again with a double game week in Game Week 25. So, you can see the top 3 players, because we have got Salah there as well, all have double game weeks in Game Week 25. So, yes, we do really need to be looking at setting up for Game Week 25 with those double game week players. And some people are going slightly early. They're doing these Game Week 25 transfers, but they're doing them in Game Week 24 instead, if they think that these players are actually going to perform better than what they currently have in Game Week 24. And I think that's what you've got to kind of consider there. So yeah, Tarkowski, Kilman, Salah, the 3 most popular transfers among our experts, all have double game weeks in 25. And I think that's kind of important to know. Got 2 Chelsea boys here, James and João Felix there. Kind of interesting, people going in on Chelsea at the moment. Mahrez, 3 transfers in, not too many, considering how high Mahrez has been scoring. That's a pretty low number of people transferring Mahrez in. I know some people will have him already, but a lot of people predicting that Mahrez is actually going to be rested in Game Week 24. So we'll be interested to see what happens there. Ødegaard, a few transfers in for him as well. He's got that double in Game Week 25. And Pickford. So guys, I know a few of you guys have been asking me, I need to replace my goalkeeper soon. Who am I going to go for? Hey, Pickford is here. He's pretty cheap. He plays for Everton. We're hoping that Everton are going to be a bit more defensively solid under Sean Dyche. Let's see what can happen there. It's kind of an interesting pick. Anyway, let's suggest some transfers. Okay, so first of all, Botman to Tarkowski or Botman to Kilman. That same thing would apply if you have Dan Burn or if you have who's the other one everyone has? Fabian Schär. I know a lot of people have Fabian Schär. He's a lot more expensive, but there we go. So yeah, these are the kind of players you could be thinking about removing 1 game week early for the likes of Tarkowski and Kilman. If you think Tarkowski and Kilman are going to outscore Botman and Schär in Game Week 24, then you should transfer them in this week instead. Go 1 week early. I think that's a very, very good idea, but only if you think that Newcastle are perhaps going to concede a goal to Liverpool. Martinelli to Ødegaard is still a popular transfer. Moving on, you know, the last few people with Martinelli still looking to remove him. He's not really a kind of player you want to be owning long term at the moment, and we do still have another double game week to take advantage with our Arsenal players, so it's not too late to try and get the right Arsenal players into your team. De Bruyne to Salah and Fernandes to Salah. These seem to be the 2 most popular routes to get Salah into your team. Obviously, Salah is back in form. Obviously scored a goal a couple of days ago, didn't he, on Monday against Everton. So is he going to be back in form for the double game week? Some people think he is. He plays against Newcastle next. It's kind of interesting. Do we fancy Salah against Newcastle? I'm not totally convinced by that, but a few of our experts are going in on Salah for De Bruyne or Fernandes. Maybe a bit of frustration growing around De Bruyne and Fernandes, who just aren't really, well, De Bruyne's not even really putting up very good numbers, but neither of these two players are scoring FPL points at the moment. But at least Fernandes does have numbers on his side, I suppose. And finally, I've got here Trippier to Reece James. A bit of a kind of an out there one. I'm not fully convinced by this transfer, if I'm honest, but thought we'd throw it out there anyway. If you don't think Trippier is going to do too well in game week 24, 25, even 26, because Trippier blanks in 25 and then, you know, has Man City in 26, maybe there's an opportunity here to switch him for someone else. Reece James obviously has that super high upside, so people still are looking at Reece James now he is back in the Chelsea lineup. So those are your suggested transfers. Now it's time for the captaincy, which is more interesting than I thought it would be. Let's have a look at captaincy. This is going to be a fun one. Alright, so Game Week 24 captain picks. Erling Haaland is at 64%, and that is the lowest I have seen Erling Haaland whilst he's been available, you know, and there's not been any double game weeks, and he's, you know, starting for Man City. This is the lowest we've seen Captain Haaland, his percentage, in since, like, I don't know, game week 3 or 4. It's really been really high all the way through. We're constantly seeing, unless someone else has a double game week, or a team that isn't Man City has a double game week, or Haaland's injured, or Haaland blanks, unless you have one of those situations, it's been Haaland at 85 to 95% every single game week, sometimes pushing towards 98% at times, 99%. So to see him as low as 64% is surprising. It really is surprising. I did not expect to see this when I was collecting data for this video. There is a little bit of kind of people considering that maybe the Haaland is going to be rested or rotated against Forest before Man City play in their Champions League fixtures. So yeah, it's an interesting one. Maybe Haaland doesn't play. Maybe he only gets 1 point from the bench. And I think that's what a lot of people are betting on. So Rashford is the second most popular pick here. He is got a 24% captaincy rate, which is, it's something. It's quite a lot, I suppose. You know, almost 25%. That is significant. That is more than just a trend. This is you know, a clear indication that he is a good captaincy option. We've got Harry Kane at 5%, a minor trend there, kind of creeping in. Maybe there is an opportunity there. Mahrez against Nottingham Forest. I don't like it personally. I think it's a little bit too risky, but hey, maybe some people are going for this high risk, high reward kind of captaincy pick, which I don't mind at all, really. If you want to take that risk, absolutely go for it. It's just not something I would want to do personally. And we've got Bruno Fernandes here at 2% here as well. So just a couple of people going for Bruno Fernandes, which does, I guess, say something. Now, there are 2%. There's 2% missing. That's because we have two 1%ers, and the two 1%ers are Mitoma and Saka. So two other players, really super differential players, being captained as well. And what we see in front of us right now, what this tells me is that if you are going to go for a differential captain, now is the time to go for it. It's super risky going for a differential captain. One, when Haaland is, you know, pretty much guaranteed to play, when Haaland is fit and firing, and when Haaland is also at 85, 90% captaincy pick rate. So because he is in none of those categories right now, we've got a very rare opportunity. If you are kind of lagging behind in your mini leagues or in your overall rank, and you want that opportunity to take a risk, this is the exact kind of game week where I would be willing to take a triple captaincy risk. And the triple captaincy risk, a differential captaincy risk. Please don't use your triple captain if you still have it. But yeah, certainly Rashford is. He's staring at me. He's staring at me, and he wants me to pick him as captain. I am feeling it. I am feeling a differential captain this week. I think it's a good week for it. And if you don't fancy Rashford, hey, there is Kane there. There is Mahrez. There is Bruno Fernandes. And if you're super crazy, like a couple of our experts always are, there's always a couple of outliers who are going for something wild. There is also Mitoma and Saka as well there as some different captaincy picks. But if you are boring, if you are safe, if you just want to, you know, tick along nicely, you're happy with the way things are going, or you just have super high confidence in him, then Haaland is still your default answer. The answer you just default to. You just go for him, and you don't really need to think about it too much. But hey, there is some food for thought here, guys, and I'd be really interested to hear some of your thoughts of you guys in the comments, particularly if you are not going for Erling Haaland, why you are going for someone else. Why are you thinking about going for someone else? Who do you think is going to be the guy to be the top point scorer in Game Week 24? Haaland captainers for Game Week 24? Is there anything that could change your mind? Why is it that you are so confident in Haaland this week where, you know, maybe there is a little bit more doubt around things this week? So, be really interested to hear your thoughts on that one. Right, let's call it there, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please do leave a like. Please do subscribe if you are new around here as well. I've got my team selection coming up tomorrow, so looking forward to sharing that with you. So hopefully see a few of you guys there. But for now, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.